So now let me do one thing for you. Let me read you, one of the famous poems. First of her idol or ideal, who is Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Sonnets from the Portuguese, and especially sonnet number 43, which is everybody's favorite. So this is what she says: "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candle light. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and in my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death." And as you know, it was this great love story between her and Robert Browning, who was younger.
Yes.
And they had a clandestine love affair. She was already on laudanum, a kind of opiate, because she had a lot of spinal pain, and then some people say she contracted TB as well. They lived in Italy, in beautiful places, Florence, Siena. And of course she died before I think she reached 50. So it's a great story, and it's in a sense it was a very, should I say, satisfactory and happy love story. Now Dimple G's is not entirely in that mold. The 12 poems seem to follow a cycle. And while reading it, I was reminded of something else which I thought I should share with you. And that is, it's called the Ladder of Love. I don't know if you've heard of it. But it's a very old text. It's from Plato's Symposium. And Socrates is making a speech in praise of Eros. And I don't know if a lot of you know this, but Socrates' tutor was a woman. Her name was Diotima. She was the sort of priestess. So Socrates, aaj guruon ki hum yaad kar rahe hain. So I think Socrates was this great guru of ancient, Greece. I mean, the Greco-Roman civilization is one of the foundations of the modern West. But the Greeks were closer to us, frankly. So much so, I mean, sometimes I joke with my friend Bharat Gupji. There's a wonderful word in Greek tragedy called hamartia. It's the turning point. And it has the same meaning as vimarsha, which is also a kind of turning point of recognition, a point of recognition. And of course, there are lots of Kashmiris here. So Vimarsha is very important in Kashmir Shaivism. There is Prakash and there is Vimarsha. Anyhow, so in this Plato Symposium, Diotima is teaching Socrates about the levels of love. And so, and we see this in Dimple G's book. So first, Diotima is spelling out this ladder on which you ascend when you love. So she says, first you love a particular beautiful body. This is the starting point, when love, which by definition is a desire for something we don't have, is first aroused by the sight of individual beauty. Then she says, it becomes all beautiful bodies. You begin to see the common denominator in beauty as not something that is embodied in only one individual, but there's beauty everywhere. As Dimple G said, I hope you find love where you seek it. So it's like that. And then all beautiful bodies share something in common, something the lover eventually comes to recognize. And then that person moves beyond the passion for that individual body. And then the next step is beautiful souls. The lover comes to realize that spiritual and moral beauty matters much more than physical beauty. So you see a person's qualities, their inner being, and you begin to love that, not just the encasement. Then, so you yearn for that interaction with noble people, like with General Savia. He's such a noble person. When we are with you, sir, we feel elevated. And you want to become a better person because you interact, and that's what we call satsang, right? And then you move from beautiful, morals and beautiful souls to beautiful laws and institutions, which is what we need. And I think the army is such a wonderful institution because it follows certain values by and large, and we need much more of that in our daily lives. That discipline, that dedication, and I think that sense of the higher calling. So there are two army people, so I would like to acknowledge that. So beautiful laws and institutions, right? Which are eventually obviously created by beautiful people, and they foster conditions that encourage moral beauty. And then she says finally, now we're coming really to the work of the gurus, the beauty of knowledge. You see, jo gyan hota hai, we say sa vidya ya vimuktaye, right? So that is knowledge which actually liberates you. And the first line of Sankhya Karika also emphasizes that, the whole purpose of philosophy is dukkha nivaran. And so only that is true knowledge that can elevate you, can liberate you. The lover turns attention to all kinds of knowledge, but particularly to philosophical understanding. As Shankara says, only Gyan will give you mukti. Anyhow. So, you see, these are the ladders of love, and to some extent you find them in Dimpleji's work, because the protagonist moves and she's also teaching her lover. The lover is the one who seems to be at a somewhat lower level. And to illustrate that, let me read you a poem that I've selected. And I hope I can quickly find it. I had marked it. But it's really a situation that I think all of us will relate to, where basically it's called no time. I'm sure you figured it out, right? So, your love for me is immense. To measure it, you have no time. My company enthralls you. To savor it, you have no time. You want to confide your fears in me, to pour which you have no time. You delight in sharing thoughts with me, for the pleasure of it, you have no time. Our relation is special for you. To treasure it, you have no time. So in blissful ignorance we'll both stay, as by the time you have time for me, I would have run out of it. Isn't this our daily life? We really have no time for one another, even time for people we really cherish and love, including our parents who are like a living treasure, or our spouses, our children. किसी के लिए टाइम ही नहीं है हम लोगों के पास आज. This is हमारी वस्तुस्थिति तो यही है डिम्पल जी, है ना? And then she says, just so that if you didn't catch the message, she'll spell it out for you. She says, devote time and attention to demonstrate your emotions, lest in our worldly quest. See, lest in our worldly quest, you see, even in a prose there's a rhyme. We should lose who we treasure.